Kung Fu. Let's check it out. Hey folks, it's Chris Dyer here at Reborn Martial Arts in Springfield, Virginia, and today we are coming at you with another What Is video. Today we are covering the broad spectrum question, what is Kung Fu? All right, Kung Fu, what in the world are we talking about? It is probably one of the most misused terms in all of the martial arts world. Kung Fu, or normally called Gung Fu, if you're trying to pronounce it more correctly, really means skill developed over time. So great skill developed over time. There's lots of different interpretations or meaning for the iconography for that, but the best translation I have for that is great skill developed over time. So it really could be anything. You've heard probably people talk about this, that a barber could have Kung Fu or a carpenter could have Kung Fu. It simply means skill developed over time, right? So it doesn't actually relate to the martial arts in any way. All right, so what are some alternative terms for Kung Fu? We have two that work really well, either Chuan Fa, which literally means fist method, which if you study any of the Kempo arts from Japan, it is the same iconography. It means the same thing, Kempo, fist method. And then the other term would be Wushu, which literally means martial or war arts. Wushu, however, has got its own conflict nowadays. Since about 1949, the Chinese Wushu Association wanted to set out structured layout of what their forms and their style is. And so all of the Chinese martial arts nowadays kind of fall into Wushu, and it's more performative art than it is martial art, as the term originally implied. So now even in the US, we have this conflicting, do you do Wushu, which is performative art, or Wushu, which is martial art? So it's really confusing term for that. But how did all of this get kind of confused and tied up into Kung Fu? And it's believed that mid-19th century, when a large population of immigrants from China came to the US to help build the West. They built our railroads, and the terminology Kung Fu, whereas in this person has good skill, this person has good skill, also got applied to people with martial arts skills. So it's believed that that is where we start getting introduced to Kung Fu as a person that can fight, right? As a martial historian and someone who has been looking a lot at the history of boxing, I can't wait to get to that time period in our other YouTube series on the history of boxing and see where the two overconnect. I think that's going to be a really interesting time period to look at. So what are we talking about nowadays when it comes to Kung Fu? If we're using that term to represent the Chinese martial arts, what are we talking about? I think the three biggies that people talk about nowadays are either the Shaolin school, the style of Wing Chun, or the Wudang school. And those are kind of like the three biggies that are umbrella terms for a lot of martial arts. Shaolin, there's thousands of different styles. Yeah, I would say or argue that there's as many martial arts styles of Shaolin as there are Shaolin instructors, right? They're all teaching something different, but you can break it down largely into animal styles, or at least this is my interpretation of Shaolin. So you have tiger, crane, snake, leopard, dragon styles. There's also other branches. You have mantis, you have different other styles from there. Wing Chun, which is a style in itself, I know zilch about, nothing about Wing Chun. So people that comment in our videos all the time, oh, it's like Wing Chun, blah, blah, blah. I have no idea what you're talking about, but that's awesome. I want to learn more about it. And then Wudang school, which is actually what I study, which is your Xingyi, your Taiji, your Bagua, your Neigong, your Qigong, all these types of things fall in the Wudang school. So you have, those are kind of like the umbrella terms for what Kung Fu is. Kung Fu today, it is probably one of the most misused terms, but it's also one of the most important, influential style systems, schools of martial art there is. That has influenced everything. Everybody that studies martial arts in some way has some sort of connection to Chinese martial art, even if you're studying Western stuff, there's still going to be influence. You're still going to be watching Kungfu movies. You're still going to be influenced by YouTubers like myself who have Chinese martial arts influences in their martial art. Karate guys, JuJitsu guys, you all have some sort of influence from Kung Fu. It's one of the most, if not the most, influential systems of martial arts in the world. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this is helpful to kind of break down some of these terminologies. It's the whole point of why we do this What Is series. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or just want to learn more or want to post a what is, give me a thing that you want us to look at, post in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you next time.